Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with another Sister Wives Season 14 review. All I have to say to start this video off is Team Truly, but we'll get to it when we get there. Go ahead, do me a favor, hit the like button as we begin. So the wives are in Chicago because they're there to visit Leon, Audrey, and the fur babies. We see them being tourists and enjoying the sights and sounds of the city. Christine tells us that Cody is at home and he's watching the kids, but I don't really feel like he's watching all of the kids, even though they try to make it seem that way. I feel like he's only watching the birds' kids because later on when we see them out on Coyote Pass, when they're out on the property eating, I noticed that Janelle's mother is there and McKelty is there, which means they're watching the other mom's house and Cody is probably just at Robin's house. It's the same thing that happens every time when the moms go out on this trip. His central place is Robin's. I mean, he was at Christine's that one time, but he's mainly over Robin's kids. They go out to eat and the bird lets us know that they live far from each other now. And as a result of them living so far apart and them being so spread out, that the idea of getting together almost becomes a little stressful for her. And that doesn't make sense to me. The only reason why it's stressful is because these women do not hang out. They don't do this. If you tell me that I'm about to hang out with my friends or I'm about to hang out with my siblings, the last thing that's on my mind is stress. I'm excited, I'm relaxed, I'm pumped because I know I'm about to have a really good time. That's the one time, especially with my siblings, where I can just relax and just be me, whatever version of me I am that day. Because we all have, days where we want to be bothered and days where we don't. But I can be me. The ladies gather at the table. Christine says, we've had some intense moments lately, so it's nice to just come out and have fun. And as she says this, I think they're about to do something fun. But then she proceeds by killing that statement and asking them about their rentals. That isn't fun. Mary tells the ladies that she was able to find a rental and has signed her 1-year lease. Robin is bothered by it and she can't understand why Mary would ever want to do that and why she would agree to that, because Robin signed a 1-year lease and now here she is in this place where she has to move, so she'll never do that again. Instead, what she's doing rather than getting ahead of this is she's praying for a miracle. She's still fighting Cody every single day at the idea of buying a place because she doesn't want it. She tells them that she and Cody have been at odds over the renting versus buying issue, and he told her that he wants to buy. She lets us know he's going to take the kids to find a house, and supposedly she's hoping that they hate it. That statement makes me feel like she's lying. Why would you hope that your kids would hate the house? You're acting a little bit much here. Christine tells Robin, that's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I want to know what's frustrating. Is it her willingness to change her standards? Or is it the fact that she may buy something? Or is it that Cody is just being a problem? Like, what part of it is frustrating? Because you're not being clear here. But some part of me feels that Christine and maybe even Janelle and Mary too are enjoying the fact that Robin and Cody are having a difficult time, because that's never their situation. Janelle tells us that this must be a big issue because Robin doesn't discuss these type of things. She normally keeps silent. You generally would never see this, and Robin would never discuss it. She says, I'm not going to pick sides here. For me, I'm team whatever works for them. Christine says, I see the good in both options. I bought, so who am I to say no, don't buy? You should rent. I think they're going to have to do whatever they decide to do. Mary says she doesn't really think that it's that big of a deal or that God cares where they live. And I want her to say that louder for the people in the back, because you keep on going to this, you're praying for a miracle and you want this and you want that, but you have to do your part and you have to be realistic. And nothing about this situation or this move was realistic. So I guess Robin has not been successful, and she's not going to get her sister wives to do like what she said in the last episode, which is team up and side with her against Cody, because she wanted them to be on her side. The topic of the different plots on Coyote Pass property comes up, and we're reminded of the fallout again. So at this point, this is the third episode that we're being given the flashback of what happened on Coyote Pass. But I noticed they're not showing the Cody rant every time in this flashback. They're showing us the other part. Christine said what happened on Coyote Pass is indicative of how we've been operating lately, which is separately. I think it's a bigger thing than that. I think that what happened on Coyote Pass shows us how damaged your family is and how much you guys don't respect one another. Janelle says she likes going away because the relationship with the four of them is what really matters. She says there's Cody and there's him, he's whatever. But to me, this is the core. That's telling that she finds the core to be the ladies. She says she enjoys being away without the kids. So they have all these little discussions about the house, and they still don't come to any conclusion about the property. They do a water toast to the homes. Christine says, I love these ladies and I trust them completely. That's a lie, because we now know that at this point, she already had lost trust in Robin, and we know she didn't trust Mary. But this is what she's saying here, so we're going to go with it. I love these ladies and I trust them completely. I don't want to live with them though, but I do want to live beside them. So she's okay with living next to them for whatever remainder of her life there is in Coyote Pass. Back in Flagstaff, we see Cody and the kids. Cody decides to make some homemade pizzas with the kids. I think he enjoyed this more than they did. It looked a mess. He was all over the place. He was trying to show off with flipping the little pizza roll and doing the hand toss and all that stuff. But to me, looking at some of what we saw, the pizza doesn't look that great. And everyone looks kind of sad. Like they don't look like they're enjoying themselves. The pizzas are done. They fold their arms for prayer. He tells us that he doesn't think any of the kids are going to be polygamous. He let us know that he wanted to advocate faith for his children, but he gave them the choice about God and religion. He asks Isabel to pray, tells everybody to make sure their arms are folded. I've never been told to fold my arms when I pray. That's a little bit different. I don't understand that. If you do, put it down below. He says he wishes that he hardlined for them to be in religion because there's so much distracting them from that. But if you as a parent don't do it, then you can't expect for them to do it. You lead by example. I know for me, growing up, it was church to the point where I hated going to church. I spent more time at church sometimes than I did at home. And I determined as an adult that with my child, he will come to his own conclusions eventually, but there are certain rules. So he knows that he has to go to church twice a month. I'm not asking a lot of him. He is now at a stage where he's old enough, so he'll be like, Mom, I'm coming, even when I'm not telling him he has to go. And they form their own stuff. But you have to cultivate some part of something in there, whatever your beliefs is. You have to push it a little bit. But if you're not pushing it, and if you're not leading by example, then what expectations do you have of your children? They're not going to be grounded in your belief because you didn't teach it to them. He failed at that. That's on him. But he's giving himself major props to his pizza. Even though it looks bad, he says it tastes good. And Isabel agrees. It's a new day, and the ladies go to see Leon and Audrey and the puppies. Mosby is extremely excited to see Mary, and she is equally excited to see him. And as they were greeting, I couldn't help think about how much love Animals show you. I know when I think about my first son, how excited he gets when he sees me, especially if, let's say, I don't go over there every day and like there's a gap in time. So say it's been like 3 days without him seeing me. When I come to the door, what he's supposed to do is I walk in, he's supposed to sit down, and then I acknowledge him, and then he could do whatever he wants. So if he doesn't see me for a while and I walk in and I say sit and he doesn't sit, I'm not supposed to touch him. His father has him very trained. I spoil him a lot, but I do not spoil him when it comes to that. So what will happen is I'll be like, Django sit. Yes, his name is Django. I'll be like, Django sit. And he'll like, he'll go to sit. And as he's sitting, you hear him go, like he's whimpering while he's sitting, when all he has to do is sit, because as soon as he sits, we're going to play and we're going to do our own thing. But I cannot touch him until he sits, because he's not supposed to jump on people when they come in the house. But sometimes he gets so excited that he just feels the need to just jump. And that's a no-no. So I saw that and I couldn't help but think about my fur baby. I'm off topic, but you can just see how excited Mosby is. Like, he is all into Mary and Mary is all in him. It's a cute moment. Mary and the other sister wives are happy to see Audrey and Leon, as well as the fur babies. They love their home and they love the home's location. Leon tells them how happy they are living in Chicago. We're told that they've been together now for 2.5 years. Audrey talks about their first date, which they later found out was not only Leon's first date, but Leon's first date with a then woman. But Leon's first date ever. I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. I'm just trying to say what the discussion was at the time. Let me say that here, because there are some talks here that we know no longer apply. Leon says, I just felt awkward. I wanted to hold Audrey's hand, but I didn't. And I just wanted to wait. So I felt like, okay, Audrey's going to go. Audrey went to the bathroom and I was like, okay, when Audrey comes back, I'm going to hold their hand. And I was supposed to, but I didn't. But Audrey ended up holding their hand first. Leon's like, I'm happy though, because Audrey's always the one to make the first move when it comes to things or have the first say so. And for the proposal, I made the first move by proposing. Say what you want to say about this aspect of things and the decisions that Leon has made in their life. It is clear to me that Leon is happier at this point in this series living their truth. And in my opinion, it's beautiful to see. Back in Flagstaff, Cody decides that today will be the day that he teaches Solomon and Truly how to ride their bikes. It sounds nice, but I think he was already working with Solomon on this, because there is a part when they're first getting ready where Truly says, Saul, you've been riding bikes for years. I haven't, which indicates her brother rides and she doesn't. But Cody wants to act like he's teaching the both of them when Saul pretty much has an idea. Maybe he doesn't know how to do it without the training wheels, which apparently he does because we see him do it. And at no point do I remember seeing him be as hands-on with him as he was with Truly. But she is terrified and she knows she doesn't want it. And Christine told him this. Cody, however, despite being told by Christine that she is not ready, she doesn't like it, she doesn't want to do it, we've tried, it hasn't worked, he feels like he can buy his kids off. So he thinks by allowing her, he feels like by allowing her to pick out a brand new bike that it will help. But Truly doesn't feel the same way. She says, I'm really nervous about riding a bike. I doubt that it's going to go well. Cody tells us, as he's starting to help her, that he didn't realize when he was buying the bike for her that she was going to have some major issues. And that is because time and time again, Cody proves that he is not a present parent. Because if you talked with Christine and Christine told you this isn't an easy thing for Truly, and if you've been living in the cul-de-sac previously for all those years, wouldn't you be aware and wouldn't you know that your child didn't know how to ride a bike. It doesn't take a genius to look outside and see, okay, my kid isn't riding in the front. Okay, my kid isn't riding in the back. But Cody spent more time in his nest with the bird than he did watching Truly grow up. He always treated Truly like she was less than. And I noticed that, especially when Solomon came around, it was like she was non-existent. Moments after Truly is on her new bike, Cody has her crying while she's going up and down the driveway. The bike is too big for her. So not only is she not capable of riding, but she's also uncomfortable because she's on a concrete driveway. Her bike is too big and she's not accustomed to this. He tries to put her on one bike and then tries to put her on a different bike, and the other one is just as wobbly, and she's screaming that she doesn't feel safe. Truly tells her dad that she does not want to ride a bike, but the bald eagle himself says, "You're too young to make decisions for yourself." I disagree. Truly is 9 years old. She needs to be comfortable and she needs to feel safe, and Cody clearly does not provide that for her. I taught my son how to ride his bike. He was much younger. I think my son was like 5 or 6 when he learned how to ride his bike without training. Well, 6. And he was younger and we had conversations and he wanted to do it. And I taught him how to do it in the backyard in the grass, where if he had fallen, it wouldn't hurt him as badly. And there was also no concrete or cameras in his face. You got to be reasonable about the things that you request of your children. And I'm not saying hinder them by not allowing them to ever do it, but think about their feelings. You know, there was a way to do this without it turning into what it turned into, where he's barking at her and kind of fussing at her. At the young age of 9, Truly says, "It's not fair at all. It's my choice. This is my body, and I'm not going to ride a bike." I said, good for her. I wouldn't want Cody to teach me how to ride a bike either. She was clear about how she felt and he ignored her, showing her that what she wants in his eyes doesn't matter. And that's not okay. Her feelings matter. I know in more recent seasons that she still hasn't learned how to ride a bike. I hope that between her brothers and her brother-in-law and her stepfather, that she has learned, because it is something that, you know, you want to know. My mom is in her 60s and she never learned how to ride a bike because in Jamaica, the families that didn't have as much money didn't have bikes, and it was way too many of them. So it was never anything that she learned. And I remember I told her I would teach her, but she didn't trust me or feel safe with me. And what did I do? I listened to her and I said, "Okay, Mom, when you're ready, let me know." So we're back in Chicago. They head out for lunch. They've been engaged, Audrey and Leon, for 5 months, and the moms are now trying to pressure them and find out about their plans, with them saying that they weren't in a rush to get married. I don't understand why they felt the need to talk about all of this. We find out that Leon was sent a wedding planning book by Mary, and they didn't know where to begin with it, so they haven't really touched it. Mary tells them that she knows that they're going to get an engagement party through the sisters, and she wants to do a second engagement party at the bed and breakfast. And even though the sisters are going to throw one, she feels like they should have two. Leon kind of shuts it down immediately because they don't like the idea of 2 engagement parties, but they do like the idea of having it in Utah. I personally think that who am I to stop someone from wanting to throw me multiple parties? Maybe that's the Leo in me, but if you want to throw me a party, go ahead and do so. The bird is like, it's okay to have 2 parties because they're 2 brides. Christine says 2 sister wives agree, and the rule is if 2 agree, it's a fact. Leon's like, Janelle, what do you think? Save me here. And Janelle's like, you know, whatever y'all decide is what you decide. Janelle tells us she's not going to jump in because either way, it's going to be an issue. Audrey is down for the party. Leon says, Audrey never backs me up, and they laugh about it. Audrey says, if someone wants to throw us a party, then I'm ready to party, whether it be in Chicago, Utah, or Vegas. I'm ready. the moms don't understand why Leon isn't excited to celebrate, and I kind of don't either. Leon and Audrey don't know when they want to do certain things, but they do know that they've narrowed their wedding date down. One of them wanted it to be in August. One of them wanted it to be in October. So they met to the medium ground of September. They don't know. Oh, they also know that they want to have kids. They want the kids to be born on the 29th because both of them have birthdays on the 29th. It's very young and cute to say. Yeah. They want 2 kids. They don't know how they'll do it, but they've already determined that Leon won't take part in it. I'm trying to be respectful with this segment, but you get what I mean by saying Leon doesn't want to be the person to have to carry the child. And I don't know if that's changed based on where things stand now, but that's where they stood then. The idea of having grandkids of her own makes Mary very happy. And, you know, I could understand why Mary would be happy. Mary only has this one child. So a lot of the things that the other moms will get to have and establish, and Mary won't. And it's not just because of Leon's choices, but it's because it's only one child. It changes things with multiples versus a single. Mary says she loved watching the process of Leon and Audrey finding each other. The group heads to the beach, and Mary thinks back to when Leon came out to the family. We get flashbacks of it and her reaction. She was just sitting there shook. Meanwhile, everyone else is hugging and saying they were happy for her. Mary says, I felt like the worst mom in that moment because of my reaction, and I'm just thankful that Leon had 3 moms who reacted better than I did. I think that Mary's reaction was natural, and Mary comes down on herself a lot for it, but I don't think her initial reaction was a problem. I think the talks about like, oh, you're never going to be able to get married and have kids and things of that nature, that part she could have left out. But you sitting there and you saying that, you know, you were just sitting there, don't beat yourself up about it, Mary, because there are people who've had worse reactions. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've had kids cry on my shoulder because they're no longer accepted by their parent because of their truth. She says, when Leon came out, it was a bit of a shock to me. I'm really glad that when Leon came out, it was a shock to me. I'm really glad that I had experiences in my life where I was open to that, because I see so many families reject their kids or their family members when they come out as gay. I can't imagine rejecting my child or not knowing who they are, like who they truly are, and knowing they are together. Christine adds that she couldn't imagine rejecting her kid for something like that either, which is something that, you know, the family would have to face had they have followed their beliefs of their religion. Like if they followed what their religion stated, then they would be rejecting their kids. Put that into context. There's a lot of their belief that they don't follow. I feel like the Browns have never really been religious. Mary also mentions that Leon, you know, once showed interest in becoming a sister wife. And I'm listening to Mary talk, and I'm thinking back to the way Leon was when we first met them. And that had to be such a burden to Leon, which explains why she was trying so hard. It's like she felt like she could pray it away. Leon says, when I was in my teens, I felt very devoted to the church that I was raised in. I always said that I wanted to live in polygamy. I think it was a way to protect myself from coming out to myself. I'm very grateful of the way my parents raised me. And they got choked up while they were saying this. And I'm very grateful for my upbringing. And at the same time, it was very painful, and it was really hard for me to be gay and be religious at the same time. I have considered many times what my life would be like if we had not moved to Vegas. My guess of what would happen is that I would get married, be there a few years, hate my life, and eventually leave. Hate my life. as I heard Leon say that, I wonder how many of the wives at that time hated their life. And I know Mary did. And I think Christine was beginning to. Cody's told Leon, and Leon gave Kody a lot of props for this one statement, that they had a talk with God a long time ago, and God told them that all they have to do is love and God will judge. And she's just so grateful for that. Leon says, I'm sorry, and they're just so grateful for that. Leon says religious institutions are spaces with rules, and if you don't follow those guidelines, then you feel marginalized. Leon felt that way with the church, but never felt that way with her family. Leon says they loved me and they love Audrey, which means a lot to us. And that's true. I think that we can say whatever we want to say about the Browns and all the things that they have not done. Over the years, it is clear that some of the adults in the family do accept their children as they are. And that is so important. And I feel like we need to spend more time talking about those aspects so people can see, like, if you live your truth, that there still will be people who are willing to accept you for you, whatever version of you that is. We're back in Flagstaff. Kody and the kids are out on Coyote Pass. They're preparing s'mores and hot dogs over a campfire. The kids give him a lot of credit for, doing this and all this other stuff. It's way more credit than he deserves. I just feel like he's a father. This is what he's supposed to do. Kody says, whether Robin likes it or not, the time has come for us to buy a house. We have 7 weeks until we have to be out of this house. And I'm over Robin trying to rent. If I were a stinker, I'd go make the offer on the house while Robin is still in Chicago, but he's not going to. You can't make the offer without her because the both of you need each other and the other wives in order to get that house and to make the offer. Aurora let us know that she's been having twitches since her mother has been gone, but she's been off to the side trying to hide it as best as she can. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Aurora is her mother. We see McKelty, Isabel, Gwen, and Brianna laughing. As they're laughing and Brianna's eating a s'more, Kody says, what we're experiencing now is exactly why I want to build one home. Y'all can do that without the one home. You could do it in the cul-de-sac. There's other ways to do it. You just don't try. You don't put forth effort, because we keep hearing about how everybody's so busy, but you can make time for each other. You just choose not to. He says most of these kids have never lived in the one home, and I just don't feel like they have the camaraderie that the other kids do. Most of the kids up there have. The only kid that never lived in the one home were 3. Oh, wait, no, Robin's 3. So 6 kids haven't lived in the one home, because Truly never lived in the one home. I think Truly was Truly born in Vegas. Yeah, Truly was born, I think. No, I can't remember when Truly was born. Either way, Robin's kids and maybe Truly never got to experience the one home, but Savannah and all the rest of them did. He says that this is, what he wants for his family. Solomon and Truly really like Coyote Pass. The other kids say how peaceful it is. Kody says, I'm going to line the pond, as you all told me, is a sewage drain or drainage, or where leftover water goes. Kody is going to line it to make sure that it is definitely a pond, and he's going to put fish in it. Kody says he's not going to talk about worst case scenario, because best case scenario, the family could start building on Coyote Pass in a year, and worst case scenario, they're going to build in a year. He's lying to himself. Back in Chicago, they're going axe throwing at a facility. I did this with my department, and it was such a great time. The ladies really enjoyed it, and I want to do it again because it was fun. And then, of course, she got the competitive nature of the different ladies and seeing them trying to, it was fun. So Christine walks in and says, do you have a shirt that says, keep your hands off my axe? And the guy chuckles, and they say that a few times about keeping, I won, whatever. It's competition time. 3 rounds, 5 axes each. The best 2 out of 3 wins. Audrey, we're told, played tackle football in high school, started as a kicker, then they were online, but they really weren't that great. They enjoyed it. Leon ends up playing. Everybody plays. Leon's the champion. They're done with that. They go back out to eat again. Robin apologizes for being a party pooper during the trip. Christine cracks a joke saying that she has been a party pooper, and Robin starts to cry. I am so over the dramatics of this situation. You wonder why your kid is hypersensitive. You wonder why your kid keeps having all these panic attacks, and you keep on doing things that show me why. Robin is a drain. Her energy is draining. She doesn't seem happy. She always looks depressed. She always seems somber. There is always like something is going on with her, and that would be annoying. She blames her stress on the situation back at home and the things that are going on with her and Cody. And then she tells them while, throwing axes, she received a text from Aurora who was having a panic attack and that she had to sit there and talk her through it. If Aurora could text you during a panic attack, then she's okay. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I said it in the last video. I used to have them all the time. I still get them every now and then now. I used to have to take medication for it faithfully. I kind of weaned myself off of it, went more of the natural route, tried to take ashwagandha and ate different things and, did different things to help my mental clarity. I can feel myself getting anxious. I can feel like, especially like if I have to do a presentation or something like that, yeah, my anxiety kicks up. But you learn over time when you're taught and when you're seen by a doctor and a therapist and all these other things on how to work through it. But they haven't, despite what they said, we're seeing a doctor. You haven't seen a doctor. She's stressed out about finding a rental home, wondering why she's there because she feels so unsafe right now with the house and not knowing where she's going to live next. I hate that they use the word unsafe. You have money and you have options and you have other wives with homes. Will this be something that is uncomfortable? Will it require for you to maybe bunk with them a day or two, or maybe get a hotel or something of that nature, or go stay with family during the summer? Maybe. But for you to act like you're going to be completely homeless and you don't have options, like how some people really don't have options, it irritates me. Oh, goodness. She's like, I have so many arguments with Cody about whether or not we should buy. She admits that while chucking axes at the board, she wished she could be throwing them somewhere else. I wonder where that is. They laugh about it. The moms are happy to hear that. Mary adds, I'm happy that you guys are here. I'm happy that you guys signed a 2-year lease. The wedding topic comes up again. Leon says, I just would like for somebody to plan it for me. This is what she says when this is what they say. I'm sorry, I keep saying she. This is what they say. I'm glad somebody, I want somebody to plan it for me, someone I can trust. Mary says, I love seeing you two together and how happy you are together. And thank you guys for being cool together and for being such an awesome kid, Leon. I love you. Leon says, I love you too. Robin says, it was nice to come, but I have to go find a home for my kids. Peace out, bird. And she says, with Cody not being here, we get along. Our relationships seem to be better and we can focus on our relationships. And I feel like the fact that you understand that, the fact that we've heard this on more than one occasion, shows me that Cody very much so was one of the major problems with them, because Cody puts them against each other. Leon, to me, because that's the end of the episode, Leon at this point, I don't know if Leon's truly forgiven Mary. The way that Leon refuses to allow Mary to just have moments sometimes in certain situations makes me feel like there's still a little bit of resentment there. I feel like Leon gives so much credit to Cody, while Mary gets very little credit, and I don't know what that's about. I don't know if there's still resentment there because of the catfish situation, but I hate how Leon refuses to allow their biological mother to have access to certain areas. And I'm not saying that Mary needs to know everything that goes on in Leon's life, but you coming out, you could have had that conversation with your mom first. You being engaged, you could have had that conversation with your mother first. There's just little things that I wish that she would have just left for Mary to have, because Mary doesn't have a lot. And I'm not saying it's her job to coddle Mary. I just noticed that, you know, as that being, you know, the biological child, I would think that Leon would do more to make them feel included. And that's all I have for this. Sorry it's so short. A lot of this stuff was just stuff that we've seen over and over again. It goes to show us how much of the time during the episode they really like show flashbacks of things that we've seen time and time again. And I don't want to waste your time. So you all tell me what you thought about this episode. If I left something out and you want to discuss it, feel free to put it down in the comments below. If you've been here on more than one occasion and you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't hit the like button yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that like button. It helps me. It helps the channel. I'm on the road to 2K. I feel it. It's going to happen sooner than later. Until next time.